What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Wrestling City. As always, I am Taylor, your mayor, and this is your Raw on Netflix review for January 12th, 2026. Now, Raw today was in Dusseldorf, Germany, so it came on earlier today. I wasn't able to watch the show because I work a regular 7 to 4 job. So the bad thing about these shows, about these international shows, is that I don't get to sit in front of my TV and watch them. What I have to do is, since I'm at work, I have to just listen to it, and I'll pull my phone out every now and then just to see what is actually going on. So I did that today while I was at work. I had my Netflix opened and I was just listening to it. Um, And then obviously I got home and then I watched some of the stuff that I really wanted to. I watched some of the matches that in my ear sounded good, and then I wanted to go and watch them for myself to see how they did. But overall, I thought Raw was another average show. Now I will say it was a little bit better than last week's. I thought last week's show was bad. I'm being honest, it was pretty bad. But I think this week was a little bit better, and I think that has to do with the crowd. They were, like I said, they were in Dusseldorf, Germany tonight, and I think that had a big impact on the show. They were definitely a lot more vocal and a lot more louder than the crowd over in Berlin, Germany on Friday night. Um, so, I mean, I got some notes here. It was an okay show. It was there were some things I liked. So I'll get into that. Let's go ahead and start with the main event. Main event was AJ Styles versus Gunther. Now they were building this up as a dream match. We're getting early. We're getting this. A lot of people thought we would get this at WrestleMania. I still do think that we see these two in the same ring against each other, 1-on-1 at WrestleMania. But we had their first match tonight, and throughout the night leading into this leading into this match, excuse me, um, AJ Styles and Gunther, their whole thing with why they're beefing is because Gunther's been coming out there every week ever since he retired. Um, Ever since he retired, John Cena, he's not showing any respect whatsoever. So AJ Styles just got tired of it, and he's pretty much just wants to beat the respect into Gunther. He wants to make Gunther respect him and the other performers in the back who Gunther just keeps on disrespecting because Gunther thinks he's just unstoppable now that he's retired John Cena. So, I mean, this is the match that I did go back and watch. This is a good match. I mean, I'm not surprised. I say this every time there's a Gunther match. Gunther doesn't have bad matches. And if you thought that a match between Gunther and AJ Styles was going to be bad, you were wrong because Gunther doesn't have bad matches, and AJ Styles rarely has bad matches as well. AJ Styles, he says that he wants to retire soon because he doesn't want to get to a point where he embarrasses himself. But my God, man, he can still go at a really high level, and he showed that here tonight against Gunther. Now, so let's get into some of this match here. So the match was based around, like I said, Styles' threats earlier in the night that he was going to turn the tables and he was going to make Gunther tap out. He said earlier in the night that he wants to make Gunther tap out because Gunther's been coming out here talking about how he's made John Cena tap out like a bitch. So he wants to come out here tonight and make Gunther tap out like a bitch. And I like that they played into that a lot in this match where AJ Styles he was attacking Gunther's leg. He was softening up the leg because he wanted to make Gunther tap out with the calf crusher. Calf killer is what they used to call it. Now they got to call it the calf crusher. Um, and he got it locked in, or like 3 or 4 times throughout this match. And then right there at the end, he's got the calf crusher locked in. And Gunther tapped out. Yes, Gunther tapped out, but the referee didn't see it because so the referee was on one side. He was on like I want to say he was on Gunther's right side. And Gunther tapped out with his left hand and he was like tapping out on AJ Styles. So AJ Styles felt that. He gets up. He's telling the referee that Gunther just tapped out. The referee's not ringing the bell. Referee's telling AJ Styles, I didn't see it. So, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see the tap out. So then he goes over to the timekeeper's area and he just tells the timekeeper, what's her name? Alicia Taylor, that I'm not stopping this match. I didn't see a tap out, so we're going to continue this match. But as the referee is doing that, Gunther from behind hits AJ Styles with a low blow and hits him with a power bomb for the 1, 2, 3, and Gunther would pick up the win in the main event. Now, it's possible that the angle available right away would have made that finish less confusing at first. But, the more I think about it, the more the confusion works for me. Gunther, he's outsmarted everyone. AJ Styles, the referee, the announcers, all of us. Because when I was hearing it, like I said earlier, I just listened to the show. When I heard it, I was like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I had to pull my phone out and actually see what was going on. And then I like how Michael Cole and Wade Barrett both had a pretty good call on this. On the announcers team, they were like, "Wait a minute, yeah, Gunther just tapped out, and they're playing up to it. I can't believe it. Like Gunther just cheated to win, pretty much." And I like how they did that. Um, I mean, it fits into what Gunther is. I mean, this is what a heel does. Um, and I think we're going to get to a point where maybe they have a couple more matches and it's like AJ Styles just can't seem to get the best of Gunther. And I could very well see them keep doing this where AJ Styles he just wants another chance week after week or every other week to finally get Gunther because he just can't seem to get the job done, whether Gunther's cheating or he just doesn't have enough, where I think it all leads to WrestleMania. And I could very well see them doing a similar spot where they did for Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker back at WrestleMania 26, where Shawn Michaels put his career on the line to where if he couldn't beat The Undertaker, he was going to retire. And I would like to see them do that here. I don't think you need to have AJ Styles announce way in advance when his last match is. I would have it like just a couple weeks before WrestleMania, like following the Elimination Chamber, where AJ Styles says, "You know what? If I can't beat you at WrestleMania, then I'm done. I will retire from in ring wrestling if I can't beat you, Gunther." And that right there just adds more to the match, in my opinion, because with Cena and Gunther, we knew that December 13th was Cena's last match. Now, AJ Styles is going to this match where if he wins, he doesn't retire. He keeps going, and maybe he waits till the end of the year. But if he loses at WrestleMania, then he's done. He can't wrestle anymore. I think that's what they should do. I don't want them to do another farewell tour or anything like that because the last one we had was not very good. So that is the direction I think they will go, and also the direction that I hope that they go in. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Next up, I mean, we thought we were getting this in 2025, but we're finally getting it. It looks like Finn Balor is finally going to get a little spotlight in the main event scene for a world title. Because if you guys remember, I want to say around December of 2024, there was a report that came out. I think it was from WrestleVotes that said Finn Balor is in line for a major singles push in 2025, and that never happened. They were, what's that saying? Well, I mean, it's never wrong, just early. I mean, they got it right, but it looks like they just got the year wrong. So, but 2026, as of right now, it might be the year where we finally get that major Finn Balor singles push. We'll see though, because so earlier in the night, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, they walk into the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Finn Balor's sitting in there. He's playing 2K25. I don't know why he's playing that game. That game's not very good, but he's sitting there playing that game, and Liv Morgan's like, "What are you doing in here? Like, why are you in here just wasting your time playing video games? You see, me and Roxanne Perez, we just took it. We just we just pushed ourselves. We didn't wait around and wait for an opportunity to come to us. We took it, and you got Raquel Rodriguez. She's out here. She's not wasting any time. She wants a world title shot now against Stephanie Vaquer, and then you got Finn Balor back here. He's just doing his own thing, playing video games. Look like he doesn't care to be challenging for titles or anything like that. And it looks like that talk from Liv Morgan woke something up into Finn Balor, because CM Punk's cutting a promo talking about how he's excited to still be our world champion, and that he plans on keeping this title forever, and he thinks that's possible with the fan support. So then he says, "That's all I got. I'll see you guys next time." And then Finn Balor interrupted him. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, the Finn Balor heard those words, and he was like, "All right, bet I'm gonna go out here and get myself a title shot for the world title." So he um he can cut a promo. I thought his promo against CM Punk was very good. Um, so let's see here. Let's see what we got here. So he he pretty much says that he wants a title match against CM Punk. So, and he brought up the fact that when CM Punk first won the world title, he was like, you mentioned my name, and CM Punk was like, "Yeah, I did mention your name. Good memory, but that was 2 months ago. So what have you been doing for the last 2 months? Where is this Finn Balor been at? Like, what took you so long?" So then he starts asking him, like, I know how good you are, but am I going to be facing Finn Balor or Finn Balor in the Judgment Day? And he talks about how he just took out Bron Breakker in the Vision last week. So, and then CM Punk says, "You know what? I'll give you your title match tonight, right here in Dusseldorf, Germany." And Finn Balor, um, let's see here. So Finn Balor talks about how CM Punk, he's always had the hometown crowd in Chicago behind him. That it's like every time he gets a major match, it's always in front of his hometown in Chicago, where he's always got the home field advantage pretty much. So Finn Balor turns that around and says, "We're going to do it in my home country next week in Dublin, Ireland." Now he's not from Dublin. He's I think he's from, what is it, Whitlow, Ireland, or something like that. But it is still in Ireland, so I expect a very home field advantage esque type of crowd for Finn Balor next week. I don't expect a title change. I mean, we did get one this past Friday with Drew McIntyre, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but I don't see them taking the title off CM Punk, and especially to Finn Balor. So I don't know. I don't know where they go after that though, but I don't know. I just don't see them putting the title on Finn Balor at that point. So, but it is nice that Finn Balor is finally getting this opportunity because I mean we've been waiting for this for a year, so it's nice to see. Um, Speaking of Judgment Day, and like I said earlier, uh, Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan are now the number one contenders for Rhea and Eos, or as they like to call themselves, Rio. Rio's women's tag team titles. So we kicked off the show with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They just came out there, cut a promo talking about how they're excited to be our new women's tag team champions. And then they cut a promo, and then Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, they come out there, and then Bailey and Lyra, they come out there. They're all talking about how they each won a women's tag team title match opportunity. And as they're all in the ring, arguing with each other, the Kabuki Warriors come out there. They attack all of them. Then eventually, Rhea and Io end the segment standing tall. So then that set up a triple threat tag team match later on in the show between Liv and Roxanne, Bailey and Lyra, and the Kabuki Warriors, and Liv and Roxanne. They got the win. So at Saturday night's main event, just 1 week before the Royal Rumble in Montreal, it will be Rhea and Io defending their titles against Liv and Roxanne. I would like to see a title change there. To be honest, I mean, I can. I don't like Rhea and Io in a tag team. They're singles wrestlers, and it's the fact that we've got two singles wrestlers holding tag team championships. I don't like it. I don't know why. I still don't know why the women's tag team titles are still a thing. I really don't care for them. If I'm being completely honest, I really don't, and I just don't care for them. And then they call this a women's tag team division, but this women's tag team division is nothing but singles wrestlers pretending to be a tag team because they don't have legit real tag teams to put in their women's tag team division. And this is hurting the mid card titles that are on these shows, like the women's world title picture, the women's intercontinental title picture, the women's championship title picture on SmackDown, and the women's U.S. title picture on SmackDown as well. I I just wish they would get rid of these. To be honest, I just don't care for them. So that was that, and then now the big question for me coming into this episode of Raw was what is next for Bron Breakker? What is next for Bron Breakker after losing last week in the main event against CM Punk, unable to capture his first world title? Well, we got the answer to that, and I loved everything about this segment. So we had a tag team match between Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. They took on Penta and Dragon Lee, and it ended in a DQ where Bron Breakker, my God, man. So WWE, so Bron Breakker, he comes running down the aisleway and he literally speared Dragon Lee in half. And the production, they put this like drone in the arena, and they had this drone just following Bron Breakker all the way down the ramp. And the ramp tonight was longer than we usually get. So I mean, he ran a good 20-25 yards and then just speared Dragon Lee right in half. And now um my God, man. So then Adam Pierce, he had enough because earlier in the night, Adam Pierce told Paul Heyman, if if Bron Breakker shows up tonight, you tell him to leave immediately. Now, probably Paul Heyman didn't see Bron Breakker appear backstage, so he had no idea that Bron Breakker was there. So Adam Pearce had had enough. He goes under the ring and he gets in Bron Breakker's face, who who eventually grabbed Pierce. And I thought Bron Breakker was going to do something to Adam Pierce. I thought he was gonna like spear him in half, throw him across the ring, something. But he grabbed Adam Pierce, like held him down in the corner. He was like yelling in his face, told Adam Pierce to kiss his ass, told him to screw you, all that stuff, and then he eventually Bron Breakker and the rest of the division they walk backstage and they go to commercial break. They come back from commercial break and Bron Breakker's walking back there and Adam Pierce is like, "Hey, don't you walk away from me!" And um, Adam Pierce would then suspend Bron Breakker indefinitely. He wants to make him think about what he had just done. And then Heyman soon pointed out that the GM put his hands on Bron Breakker first because Paul Heyman, after Bron Breakker walked away, Paul Heyman said something like, "You just made a big mistake." And Adam Pierce is like, "Yeah, you're right. He did just make a big mistake." And Paul Heyman's like, "I'm not talking about Bron Breakker. I'm talking about you, Adam Pierce, because you put your hands on Bron Breakker first." I don't know. Now, this is exactly what they needed to do with Bron Breakker following last week. This is exactly what needed to happen. They needed Bron Breakker to come out here and just cause as much chaos as he can. And I think what he did to Adam Pierce, I think that is exactly what needed to happen here tonight. It still puts Bron Breakker in that it pictures him as this complete and unstoppable, just unpredictable badass that we know he is. And I think this is still going to lead to a rematch. I think at some point this has got to lead to a rematch. I think Braun Breaker's just going to keep doing this. I think he's going to force Adam Pierce's hand to where if he doesn't, then he might actually do something to Adam Pierce. Where he might actually spear Adam Pierce if Adam Pierce doesn't give him his rematch. I think that's where they're going here. So we'll see though. I mean, other than that, those are the major things that happened on Raw tonight. They had a Becky cut a promo talking about how she won the Intercontinental Championship back, but next week in Ireland she will be defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupree. Once again, I just and that's cool and all. I think we've seen that match enough times now. I mean, I think it's obvious that Becky Lynch is going to win. And then I don't know what they do with her in the meantime until WrestleMania because I feel like the WrestleMania match between for Becky Lynch is going to be AJ Lee. So I just feel like they're waiting. They're just waiting to get AJ Lee back to TV because AJ Lee, she signed a part-time contract, so that's why she's not on TV every week. I mean, I expected her to, but with her neck issues and she's been gone for so long, I didn't expect her to be out there every week and having matches and all that other stuff. So it looks like that's what they're waiting for. Javon Evans, he picked up his first win as the official Raw superstar. He picked up the win against Bravo Americano. And then after the match, uh, the rest of the Americanos attacked Dragon Lee, but eventually Dragon Lee was able to get away through he like jumped over the announce table and then ran away. So now there was a report earlier, right before I started recording this, where WWE is interested in using Leon Slater during this European tour because Leon Slater is from the UK. So I could very well see where Devon Evans is going to need some help taking on the Americanos because there's three of them. So I think that on one of these shows while they're overseas, I think he's going to call some help. He's going to call Leon Slater to help him take on the Americanos. That's what I think is going to happen. And then we will be getting a tag team championship match. I think this is taking place next week. Otis and Akira Tozawa, they threw their name in there. They want a World Tag Team title match. Jay Uso was backstage, and then he's like talking to his brother on the phone. I guess his brother couldn't make it there. I don't know what he had been doing, but he Otis and Tozawa walked in. They said they want a title shot. Jay Uso thinks that they're joking, but they're not. So he was like, "All right, fine. I'll give you guys a title match." And then, I mean that's pretty much it from this episode of Raw. I mean, it was an okay show. I think the main event helped a lot. Um, back to back weeks where the main event was pretty much the biggest thing. I don't know though. That Bron Breakker segment was really good as well. So yeah, I think I could say that this was a better show than last week. It wasn't great by any means, but it had its moments. So I'm hoping they can pick things more up because over on SmackDown, I feel like they've done a very good job. You just had this big title change with Drew McIntyre. You got these call ups happening, and you got these returns like Randy Orton and Matt Cardona coming back, and then Raw. It's kind of the same thing that we've been getting for the last year almost. So hopefully they can turn things around, and hopefully they can pick things up going into WrestleMania season. But if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. What did you guys think of this episode of Raw? I would love to hear your guys' feedback as well. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. Come help us make Wrestling City the greatest city in the world for all your wrestling content, like reviews for every Raw, SmackDown, and PLE. We do PLE predictions and previews and so much other content. I promise you guys, you will enjoy your stay right here in Wrestling City. That's about it. I will see you guys the next one. Until then, take care. God bless. Peace.